gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song, in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot on the ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountains and the moon, down the valley of the shadow. Ride, boldly ride, the shadow replied, if you seek for El Dorado. That is a poem written by Edgar Allan Poe in 1865 entitled El Dorado. In 1966, John Wayne, along with Robert Mitchum and James Caan, made a movie, El Dorado. And in the early 2000s, I met Papa and his mom, who was John Wayne's biggest fan. And she introduced me to all that is John Wayne. I couldn't tell you that I'd ever watched a John Wayne movie before I met her. But now, watching a John Wayne movie is my favorite thing to do on a cold, rainy weekend like it is now. Curl up with a good cup of coffee, a warm fuzzy blanket, and Papa, and just watch John Wayne movies. That's my idea of a good time. But today, in honor of all of those that are not with us this year, we're going to make a John Wayne casserole. Now, as I hear it, back in the late 60s, early 1970s, someone in the Hollywood, California area put together a cookbook of recipes that she had gathered up from all the folks who were big stars in Hollywood at that time. And this is the recipe that John Wayne contributed to the cookbook. So to start with, we're going to open 2 jars of canned ground beef. If you don't have canned ground beef, you can brown 2 pounds of fresh ground beef. Since I have it canned, and each can is 1 pound, give or take, we're going to get that into our pan. Get it all spread out good. Make sure we get it all. Turn our pan to a medium-low and let that brown. Now while that's browning, we're going to add taco seasoning. We're going to add about a tablespoon or so. Give it some great flavor. Alright, and while that's working, we're going to take let's see, this is a 16-ounce can of biscuits. These are 8 big biscuits. And these are going to be our crust. So the first thing we're going to do is spray our 9x13 pan. We don't want anything sticking. Nothing more frustrating than to go to all this work and then it stick. So we're going to take this. We're not going to tear them. But we're going to mash them out to where they're a little bit flatter. And you could do this with a rolling pin if you wanted to, but I just didn't want to get it all out this morning. We're going to heat our oven to 350. That going. Uh-oh. Man, I got muscles this morning. What's up with that? Mrs. Muscles this morning. you go. Tore that one too. Okay. And cover as much as the bottom of the can. Alright, and as soon as our oven is ready, we will put them in there to bake and bake them for 10 or 12 minutes until they start to turn a golden brown. Now while we're waiting on our meat to brown, we're going to chop up 1 red bell pepper and 1 yellow onion. And once this is done cooking up, we will cook up the onion and the bell pepper. Now, if you don't have one of these little choppers, you need to ask Santa to bring you one, because they are fantastic. Cuts down on so much time. If you like chopping up things, by all means. But this, look at that. Makes everything nice and uniform, which is especially great when you're canning. Nice. Now the onion. Oh, that onion is not good. Look at there. How about that? Every once in a while you'll cut into one that's not good. All right, let's get another one. Wash my knife. Try this one. Well, we might have a problem. That one's not good either. Never fear, a couple more. Now if I didn't have a couple more, if I did not have a couple more, and if one of these is not good, I have in my pantry some dried minced onion. And that would work just as well. Alright, looks like this one's going to be good. Just fine. Alright. I'm not one who usually cries when I peel and cut onions, but if you are, this is a great way to avoid that. Now this is a big piece, but it'll still chop. Just needs a little coaxing. And there you are. Okay, we're going to leave that there because we're going to need a few of those onions apart from the others. Alright, so let's move all these things out of the way. And we need a bowl. We need a bowl. Got a bowl. Need a spoon. Got a spoon. Now, we need to add a half a cup of mayonnaise. I'm guesstimating. A half a cup of sour cream, which is just what I have left in this little container in this case. And I have an 8-ounce package of cheese, and I'm going to put half of it in with my sour cream and mayonnaise. Give or take a shred or two. Now we're going to keep that because we're going to need it later. That all mixing up. Now we also need to add in here half of the onion that we cut up. So let's get another spoon. We're going to get some of this onion, put it right in there. Not an exact science, but it'll be good. Okay, sour cream, mayonnaise, cheese, and onion mixed up. We're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to get a bowl. Pie pan, paper towel, paper towel. Oven's ready. We're going to put our biscuits in to cook. And keep an eye on them. Now, we're going to take our ground beef. We're going to drain it. And it doesn't have a lot of grease on it because it drained pretty well when we first cooked it before we canned it. And if you use lean, it won't have very much. But anything that it does have, we're going to drain. All right, we're going to let that sit there. We're going to turn our back on. And we're not going to put anything else in here. And this is a non-stick pan. Can you see? There we go. Is that better? All right. We're adding our peppers and onions right to the pan. We're going to go give those a little time to soften up. Now next up we have some Roma tomatoes that we're going to slice. And I have washed and dried these good. And we're just going to slice these because this is going to be a layered casserole, and sliced tomatoes will be a layer. Boy, I sure do miss fresh tomato season. These are some Roma tomatoes, and a couple of them are a little small. Alright, there's that. Rolling away. Rolling, rolling, rolling. I've got that song in my head this morning. Alright. We're just going to cut them in like 1/4-inch slices. And make us a pile of them. Now I'm sure that my slicing technique leaves many things to be desired. I certainly don't do it like them fancy chefs on the TV. They do this. I don't know. There we go. So we're going to keep stirring our peppers and onions for just a few minutes. Let them get nice and soft. Check on our biscuits, see how they're coming. And once all that's ready, we'll assemble us a casserole. Okay, final assembly time. Now, one of the ingredients this recipe calls for is jalapeno peppers. Now, at a point in time during this process, I would layer in some jalapeno peppers. However, I cannot get this jar open. So, we'll just have to add them later when Papa gets home, if we want some. So, you can get them open, put them on there. Alright, so there's our biscuits. They've got just a touch of brown on them, and that's perfect. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to layer all of our things. The first layer is the ground beef. And I get it all off of there. And see, there's still quite a bit of fat in there that don't care to have. So it's a good thing we drain it. Alright, so there's our layer of ground beef. Get it even as we can. Okay. Next, we're going to add our sliced tomatoes. Just going to lay those in a row. Pretty little tomatoes all in a row. If you don't care for this mini tomatoes, then don't put this mini tomatoes. That's what I love about cooking. You generally follow a recipe, but then you can do your own thing and make it your own. And don't be afraid to make it your own. And let me tell you, sometimes it'll come out great. Other times, yeah, not so much. But you never know until you try. Alright, pretty layer of tomatoes. Now we're going to add our sour cream, mayo, cheese, and onion mixture. You know what? I think we should have put the peppers under this, but too late now. Spread this out, and this will ooze down in the crevices as it cooks. Get all melty and cheesy and yummy. That is a technical cooking term, yummy. Come over here. Go over to this corner. There we go. All right, now let's add these. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. This would be pretty with green bell peppers too, especially this time of year. John Wayne Christmas casserole. Alright, make that all in a nice layer. Now this point is where you would add the jalapenos, if you can get your jalapenos open. I cannot, as I have stated before. So we're moving on. Covering with shredded cheese. We're going to put the rest of this package of cheese on here. Now, oven's still at 350, and this will bake for 40 minutes or so, 30 to 40 minutes, until it's nice and bubbly and the cheese is melty. All right, there we go. Ooh, need a hot pad. There we go. Back to the oven. There we go. A casserole baked for about 35 minutes. Cheese is all melty. Smells amazing. You have a fork and a plate and a scooper. We are going to scoop us out some. There we go. All of our cheese. Wonderful. You are going to enjoy this as much as we do. Now, time to fix us a Diet Coke to go with it. Go curl up under a blanket and watch us a good old Western movie. Thanks for watching. See you next time.